everybody. My name is Mars. You can call me MG if you would like, and today I have for you the second installment of my author taste test reading vlog series. I have only done one other author taste test vlog, and that was back in late November, early December-ish, I want to say. And that author was Rebecca Ross, and it was a resounding success. Rebecca Ross is now someone I consider to be a favorite author. I've read 7 of the 8 books that she currently has out, and I've pretty much loved all of them. There are a couple that I didn't adore, but for the most part, fabulous. So that was such a great kickoff to this vlog series, and we are going to hope that it continues with this author. So the author that I will be reading in this vlog, which you probably already know from the title and thumbnail, is R.F. Kuang. R.F. Kuang is an author. She is American, and she has several books out, and I will be reading 3 of the 5 that she has out. She has the Poppy War trilogy, which is a fantasy, grimdark adult series, and I believe it's inspired by Chinese history, but don't quote me on that one. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure I saw it somewhere. I'll have more detail on that when I get to that book. There's also Babel, which is a dark academia novel that has a language-based magic system because it's also fantasy, and I am just so excited to get to that. I love dark academia, I love languages, I just cannot wait. And then her most recent novel is Yellowface, which is the one that I will be starting with. I have it right here. I got it from the library. I own the Poppy War and Babel, so those I will be reading later on. But we're starting with Yellowface because it is the one that I'm least excited to get into, not because I don't think it'll be good, but because it's not a genre I typically read. This is a contemporary novel, kind of leaning literary fiction, and that's just not always my jam. I'm always ready for some fantasy, but contemporary isn't my favorite genre, so we're starting with the one that I'm the least excited for, but I'm hoping that it still blows me away. And this is a novel about a white author who steals the manuscript of a recently deceased Asian writer and submits the manuscript as her own and kind of takes on this persona pretending to be Asian in order to sell this book and become famous, and the fallout of those choices. So I have heard nothing but great things about this, so I do really, really hope that I enjoy it. But if I don't absolutely love it, I'm not going to be surprised just because of the whole genre thing. But I will be starting this later on today. It's not super long, actually. Let's see how many pages this is. 319. Ooh. That is special because I will leave a link down below to the reading challenge that I run every year, the Somber Honey reading challenge. This year there's a bingo board, so there are so many prompts, and one prompt in particular I've been having trouble trying to find books to fill, but it is the page number ends in your birth date. And my birth date is the 19th of September, but 19, and this ends in a 19. How fortuitous. Wow, it was meant to be. So now I'm extra hoping that I love it because it's going on the bingo board when I finish it, but that is so completely beyond the point. Anyway, I will be getting started on this sometime later today. It is Tuesday. I'm thinking this will take me out through the rest of the week and the weekend to get this book and the other 2 books read, because the other 2 books are over 500 pages, so maybe even into next week we will have to see. But I will start this later on and give you updates as I go. Friends, and happy Wednesday. It is such a gloomy day outside. but I am here in the bedroom to give you my midway update on Yellowface. I read about 120 pages yesterday, and then I read like 40-ish more to get halfway through this morning. And so here we are. My thoughts on this book are it's very well written. I can see why it has all of the praise that it's gotten in the past couple of years since it released, because this came out in 2023, I want to say. Like, it's recent, but not last year recent. Yeah, 2023. So, like, I can see the merit of this book. It just doesn't have a spark, because I am not a contemporary lit fic satire girly, you know? It's just not my genre, but it's still really good. That's really all I can say. I don't have very nuanced thoughts about this. I think it's very funny in that like satirical way. I can see where this main character June like came from in her ideas of why she feels this way about her friend Athena. So like I don't know if I explained this to you, but basically you have June, who is a white woman, and Athena, who is an Asian woman. She's Chinese American, and they're like kind of sort of friends. They went to college together, and they like live in the same area. They both live in the DC area, and so they like get together every month or so, but they're not like close friends. And Athena is like a literary superstar. She's published so many books. She has a Netflix deal at the beginning of this book. That's like the inciting incident, is them getting together to celebrate this Netflix deal. June, however, is not so prolific. She's published one book and it did not do great, and she's struggling to really get another book sold or even work on other books because she's so like dejected about this. And she kind of just sees Athena as like not really competition, that's not the right word, but like I can see how she would be upset seeing this acquaintance friend person succeeding so much when she's struggling. Like I understand how that could make her feel worse, but like the choices she makes are so bizarre, which like I mean this is satire, obviously it's going to be so completely exaggerated, but at the same time it's like not that exaggerated. Like things like this do happen. So basically Athena ends up dying. That's not a spoiler, it's literally the first paragraph of the blurb. Athena ends up dying, and June steals her manuscript, not meaning to. She didn't even know this manuscript existed before this night, because Athena's very like hush hush about her writing. She never lets anyone even hear about this project until she's got the first draft done, and she had just finished the first draft, and June steals it, and she like changes it and everything. She edits it and like adds her own writing to it, and then gets it published, and it's a mega hit. And then accusations start piling in. She publishes it under a different name than her first book. So her first book was published under June Hayward, and then this book is published under the name Juniper Song, which is her name. Her first name is Juniper, and then her middle name is Song, but she is a white woman, and this pen name is ambiguously Asian, and there's just a whole lot happening. And right where I'm at the midpoint is things really coming to a head. She's had all of this success with this book, and then this is where the like major conflict is happening, where people are starting to call her out on all of this, and she's spiraling. So I am intrigued to see where it goes from here, what kind of comeuppance June gets. I don't know why that's such a hard word to say, and I also don't know why I used that word. I feel like I've used that word like twice in my whole life. But yeah, I am intrigued. I'm just not fully 100% invested, you know? So I'm going to get back to this and read some more. I'll probably finish this today. Like I said, I only have 160-ish pages left. So I will see you when that happens. I have the sweetest little baby reading companion today. She's been hanging out downstairs a lot lately, so the fact that she's up here in the bedroom with me is so delightful. And now I'm just gonna shut up and let her sleep. Okay, friends, it is now 3:15 in the afternoon, and I have finished Yellowface. This was a good book. I stand by my statement that it just isn't my genre, and for that reason alone, I'm not really super in love with it. But also, there were just like some moments that I didn't really jive with. I get that this is satire and it's supposed to be over the top. There were a few times where I was like, okay, this is just like way, way over the top, even for satire. And then the like final like twist reveal at the end, I was like, really? That's it? That's the whole twist? It just felt a little bit underwhelming. So while I did enjoy this book, I didn't love it. I thought it was a little bit better than middle of the road, we'll say. It was good. It just wasn't great. It wasn't anything special to me with my tastes. So, that was the first book. I'm glad I read it first because I try to when I do reading vlogs with like multiple books, I try to do the one that I'm least excited for slash I think I will like the least first and then build up to the one that I'm most excited for slash I think I will like the most. So, this one definitely, I mean, I haven't read the other two books yet, but I feel like this one's definitely going to be the bottom of the three, so I can put that to the side. And next I will be picking up The Poppy War, which this looks pretty slim. It's heavy, like the pages are very thin, so it looks a lot smaller than it is. It's over 500 pages. It is 527, so quite like not thick, as we've established, quite chunky for its thinness, we can say. I don't know where I was going with that sentence, but this is a high fantasy grimdark series. This was R.F. Kuang's debut novel. I've never actually read the back blurb, so why don't we read it together? It says, Peasant, student, soldier, goddess. When war orphan Rin aced the Keju, the empire-wide test to find the most talented youth to learn at the academies, she surprised everyone. Test officials, the guardians who wanted to marry her off and further their criminal enterprise, and even herself. But being a dark-skinned peasant girl from the south is not easy at Seingard? Sinagard? The most elite military school in Nikan. Targeted by rival classmates for her color, poverty, and gender, Rin discovers that gods long thought dead are very much alive, and that she possesses a lethal, unearthly power, an aptitude for the nearly mythical art of shamanism that could be the weapon the Empire desperately needs. While Nakara is at peace, its enemy and former occupiers, the Federation of Mugen, bides its time, and a third Poppy War is just a spark away. Rin's shamanic powers may be the only way to save her people, yet as she discovers more about the god that has chosen her, the vengeful phoenix, she fears that winning the war may cost her humanity, and it may already be too late. So that sounds really good. I've heard that, like I said, this is grimdark, so it's gonna get dark, but I've heard that there are quite a few scenes that are like very dark and graphic and like gory in a way. I've also heard that there's a lot of like bodily fluid type stuff, like vomit and other things. So that is a good thing to know going into this. I personally don't really feel bothered by that sort of thing. I think they're not triggers for me or anything like that, but it is still good to know going into a book like this. So I will be picking this up later on today, definitely before I go to bed, but I'm not sure like how soon before bed, how much I'm gonna get done today. It is split. I don't know if you can see like the darker pages. It is split into parts. So, part 1. And I will get to update you at the end of each one. There are 3 parts, I think, right? Yeah, 3 parts, so you'll get 3 updates on this book just to keep things nice and simple. So I'm gonna go get going on my day, and I will update you later on when I've read the first part of the Poppy War. Hello friends, it is just before 9:30 p.m. on Thursday, and I'm here with an update on the Poppy War. So I woke up this morning with a terrible migraine and was in bed until like 1 p.m. because I was in so much agony. And then finally about then I got out of bed and felt like I could be a person again. So I did some random things, had lunch, worked on writing, watched a little bit of YouTube, did some admin work, had dinner, and then after dinner, I picked up the Poppy War. So I read the first chapter yesterday, which was only like 25-ish pages, and now I'm 215 pages in, so I've done quite a bit of reading. And it's not fast-paced in that I'm zooming through it, but it's fast-paced in that I'm having no trouble continuing on, even though these chapters are so long. Like, this 215-page first part is only 9 chapters. I am a fan of short chapters, personally, but in this case, I understand why they're long. It does bother me a little bit, but not super terribly. So, basically, in this book, we have Rin, who is she's a war orphan, so there was the second Poppy War that her parents were killed during, and so she, wait for this car to go by, she ended up with this foster family. It's a terrible situation. They want to marry her off. She doesn't want to get married and have babies and all that. So she studies her ass off to take this test, the Keju? Is that what it's called? Doesn't say it on the back of the book, but I think that's what it's called, this test, and she completely aces it and gets into the top war college, or it's not really a college because she's 16 when she enters it, this academy, the top war academy in the country, and she's immediately discriminated against because A, she's a southerner, and B, she's a peasant. So she does not get along with most of her classmates, but she does have one friend and a couple of, acquaintances. She immediately gets off on the wrong foot with basically the Draco Malfoy of this book. He's very much proud to be the son of someone very high up in the government, and he's a little bitch about it. So she's got some struggles, and she works her ass off to continue in this academy, taking some unconventional routes, and this first part covers her first 2 years out of 5 in the school, so she's about 18 now, and has just had this profound situation happen to her. I'm trying to, explain this without spoiling it, but, I can see why the break was here, and now we have part 2, but, yes. I definitely see how this is, grimdark. I don't think we've gotten quite to that point yet, but this is only 200 pages into the first book of a trilogy. I understand it's going to get a lot darker, but we do have a few elements of that. I mean, she attends a war college. Academy. I keep saying college. A war academy. But also, I didn't expect this to be so humorous. Rin herself is, you can see she's on the cover, she's very funny, she's very stubborn and passionate, I really like those qualities about her, but then there's also, Jang? I'm not sure how his name is pronounced, Jiang, Rin is studying under him. He is hilarious. I love the, humorous mentor trope, and this book definitely fulfills. He's definitely my favorite character, and I'm very curious to see what antics the two of them get up to in her continued studies. So, I am going to read a little bit more tonight. Probably not a lot, though, because I am very tired. You'd think staying in bed till nearly 1 in the afternoon would mean I'm not tired, but oh boy, am I. So I think I'm going to do my bullet journaling stuff for the night and then do a little bit more reading just until my boyfriend gets home from his bike ride, which shouldn't be super long, and then pick this back up tomorrow. I'm very excited. I'm having a really great time with this book, so I'm very glad about that. Hello friends, it is 9:15 p.m. on Friday and I have had another day of illness and resting. I'm so tired, you guys. I woke up at my normal time, like 8:30ish, and was fine for a little bit. I started off my morning routine with no issues, and then halfway through brushing my teeth, I got really dizzy and like shaky, and I had to sit down, and it was not a fun time, so I kind of just laid back down for like 45 minutes to an hour maybe, and waited for that feeling to subside, and then I felt better. Not great, but better. So my boyfriend and I went grocery shopping as we do on Fridays, and I almost threw up at the grocery store. It just came on so suddenly, this awful nausea, and I just wasn't having a good time. So we like rushed out of there, came home, and I was not sick, thankfully. I didn't actually throw up, which I'm so grateful for. I hate when that happens. It's like the worst feeling to me. I will take any kind of pain over that, honestly. But I was still like extremely nauseous. My stomach was hurting so bad. So I laid down and ended up falling asleep until like 1 p.m. And those few hours of sleep really did help. I woke up still not feeling great, but definitely able to like move around and do stuff. So I had food and then, excuse me, did not expect that yawn. And then just chilled for a little bit, watched YouTube. And then my boyfriend and I went to an estate sale with our friend because there was one that we saw advertised the other day and we were all looking forward to it. And I'm like, it's only a couple of blocks away, more than a couple of blocks. It was like a 15 to 20 minute walk, but yeah, like it was in town. It wasn't like we had to drive there. So we headed over and got some stuff. We got a hamper, which is great because the one that we had was very old and very broken. So now we have one that's actually completely functional. And then I also got a stack of things. So I have this little Karopi wallet, and then like it's got some more spots here. I'm very excited to use this. I have way too many cards. I have a bag that I use like almost every single day that has, it's like a little bag about that big, over the shoulder thing, and it has like slots built into it for cards, but not a ton. And so this will definitely come in handy. And also when I'm like not using that bag, I do have other bags. If I want a bag to fit more things, I have like a backpack purse. This will come in handy to carry my cards. It was only $1. And then I got this bookmark, which I don't need more bookmarks, but this was so funny. It's a UFO with a tractor beam onto Bigfoot, and it says "Believe." And I just thought that was adorable. And then I also got 2 notebooks, which like they're used. You can tell that like the front pages were ripped out, but like not many, honestly. This one, it really only looks like 1 or 2 pages were ripped out. This one, a few more. You can see down here. They didn't completely come out, but these were free. So I wasn't going to say no to notebooks, especially because I have some notebooks that I have never used and I know I'm not going to use. These are much more the type that I would use. So that's fun. I got those. And then by the time we made it back from the estate sale, I started feeling ill again. So I laid down for a little bit and then I had dinner. And then I've been reading since then. Like I said, it is 9:15 and I have read part 2 of The Poppy War. I read a lot last night because my boyfriend was later than expected coming home from his bike ride. He's actually on another bike ride tonight with a different group of friends. And I have no idea when he's gonna get home from that. But also it's Friday night and Katie Ann is streaming at 11. She does like overnight streams on Fridays. And the past couple of them I've been not feeling great, so I didn't stay up, but I am cautiously optimistic about my health tonight, and I want to stay up, so I might be able to finish this. There's only 120-ish pages left, so it's very possible. But yeah, part 2, I don't want to get too into things because I don't want to spoil it, but I will say that we have gotten to the war, the titular war. So that's been fun. We've definitely delved into some darker things, although it's not as dark as I was led to believe. I don't know, maybe I just read a lot of like dark fantasies and stuff. Who knows? But it's definitely got its moments. I had other things I wanted to say, and now that I'm filming, they're completely gone. Oh, there's twins. We do know that I love twins in books. If you didn't know that, I am a twin, and so twin characters in books tend to be some of my favorites. Although, this pairing, the one twin that we meet first, I really like her. Her twin brother, not a big fan of him. I'll have to give him some more page time to see if he grows on me a little bit more. There's one friendship dynamic that kind of surprised me. Rin and this one person, they absolutely hated each other, and then they became friends, but we don't really see that relationship development on the page, and that's kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to call it a cop-out, but like, I don't know, there are like some, not like time skips, but like we don't see every single day on the page, so sometimes it'll be like days or weeks later when the next scene starts, and we just suddenly have these people be friends, and I'm like, that would have been so cool to actually see them, you know, working through the fact that they hate each other. Like, yeah, it's because they're in war together and they've seen this new side, and it's not like petty school time squabbles anymore. But like, I still wish we could have gotten more of that. Also, Rin is kind of annoying. I do like her as a main character. I think she's a very good main character, and I'm excited to see her growth. I just think that she hasn't had much yet, and I know it's a whole trilogy and we're only in book 1, but she should still have more character growth, I feel, and she's just kind of getting on my nerves a little bit. I feel like we have a wide ensemble cast, like there's so many other really interesting characters, and I feel like maybe if this wasn't like so centered on her, so this is told in third person limited point of view, so it's in third person but it focuses on Rin. I feel like if it was a little bit more omniscient, or maybe not even like omniscient, if it was still limited but following more than one character, maybe I would enjoy it more. Which isn't to say I'm not enjoying it. I am really, really liking this book. I'm just not absolutely over the moon about it because of these little things, you know? So that is my ramble about my day and the second part of The Poppy War. So like I said, I might be able to finish this tonight. We'll just have to wait and see. So I don't have anything else planned for the rest of the night except reading. So maybe I will get to the end. I'm going to stop rambling now because it seems that I'm starting to get the hiccups, and I think that's my body telling me to shut up. So I'm gonna go now, and I will see you when I have finished The Poppy War, be that tonight or sometime tomorrow. I'm just coming on for a minute here. It is 12:34, 1, 2, 3, 4. So technically it is the 15th now. It is Saturday, but I am here to let you know that I have finished The Poppy War, and this was really good. I did really like it. There's just something about it that's not like fully hitting for me. I don't know. I think this is maybe an 8 out of 10. Like, it's still really good, and I will be continuing on with the series eventually. We know I'm very bad at continuing on with series, but yeah, it wasn't like perfect. There are definitely things where I'm like, nah, about it. This last part, shit really hit the fan. I don't think I can say anything else, but I have in fact finished this, so put that to the side, and I can show you the third book for this vlog, The Witch's Babble, but also on the back it has the pictures of the Poppy War trilogy, and like these colors are gorgeous, and they're gonna look so good on my shelves when I get the other two books. I know there's an edition where they're like all white covers with like just a little bit of color. I think I like these a lot better. But book 2 is The Dragon Republic. I will have to speed this up because my cat is crying at my door and I did not expect that. Yeah, book 3 for this vlog is Babel, and ooh, this font is so tiny. Chloe, please. Oh gosh. Anyway, I will be reading this as a buddy read with Brie from Brie Bonomo. That's her channel name. It's just her name. I don't know why I said that so weird, but I will leave her link down below. I'm so excited to get into this. My library hold on the audiobook came in like yesterday, maybe? Very recently. But yeah, I'm very excited to read this. This is a fantasy. Does it take place in the 1800s? This might take place in the 1800s. It says 1828 on the back. Interesting. Yeah, and it's got a like magic school. It's Oxford University's Royal Institute of Translation, and it's got like language-based magic, which just sounds so good. I really have to go now because my cat is losing her damn mind. But I'm very excited to pick this up tomorrow at some point, so I will see you when that happens. Well, I'll see you when I've read a little bit and have an update, but you know what I meant. I'm gonna go to sleep now. Good night, friends. Okay, my tea is still way too hot. Let's just put that to the side. Ooh, delicious though. Good morning, friends. It is Sunday, a little bit after 10, and I am exhausted. I don't know. I'm still under the weather, I guess, but I cannot feel awake, it seems. Yesterday I was up for the whole day, but like I went to bed at 9 p.m. because I just could not stay awake any longer. And then I slept until 9 a.m. Of course, I don't think I was asleep for the full 12 hours, but still. That was a lot of time in bed, and I'm still so tired. Anyway, last night I did end up reading some of Babel, so I figured I'd update you. I should actually probably pick up the book. So I read part 1. Technically it's called book 1. I can show you the little page. So, first of all, we have a map. And then we have a diagram of a building. This is Babel in question. Then there's an author's note, and then it starts book 1. And I flipped through, and there are 5 parts. I don't know if I'm going to be updating you at the end of each one. We'll just see. But I read part 1, which is the first 90 pages, and it's only 4 chapters. These chapters are so long, you guys. I don't like long chapters. They're just not for me. I can see why they work for this type of story. I just am not a long chapter girly. They make me so tired. I was reading it last night with like the audiobook going, and I was like, it did not help me feeling exhausted, I will tell you that much. But my initial impressions are that I love the vibes. We know this. I love dark academia. I love historical fantasy. So the magic system in this world, it's treated as like a type of science, but they still call it like casting spells and stuff, but they like say it's not magic, it's science, which is really interesting. But basically it is language based, like I said, where um, the meanings that are lost in translating from one language to another are like imbued into a piece of silver, and that piece of silver gets the like meaning of the translation. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's like the vibes I get from it basically. So like the one example that the characters get to see is they are translating from Chinese into English this word that means no. That was a different time. The time I'm thinking of is they were translating from German to English the word Heimlich, which means, oh god, it has a specific meaning, and then the guy showing the characters, uses it to mean clandestine or secret, but it also has a meaning of home. And so because that home meaning was lost in the translation, this bar of silver is imbued with this sense of home. It's really strange. It's really strange, but I'm enjoying it. And London, where this takes place in the early 1800s, is called the Silver City because they're like the foremost in this field of study. And our main character is Robin. He is a young boy from Canton, which I believe is in China. Yeah. He gets picked up by this British man and is like, you are going to come to London and study under me, and eventually you're going to go to Oxford. He's like 12 or something when he's picked up, and he learns like Latin and Greek for like the root languages, and he already has a grasp on English because he had a tutor, which was like a weird situation for him because his family was not rich at all, but he like grew up speaking English with his tutor. And he, like, we get a couple of chapters of his backstory and stuff, but then the like bulk of the story is him going to Oxford to study at this language institute, which is colloquially known as Babel, or Babel, as the audiobook says, which I don't like. I don't like how that sounds at all. I'm gonna call it Babel. Yeah, the institute is a very like small community, and there's only 4 people in his incoming class. So we have Robin, who is Chinese. We have Rami, who is from Calcutta. We have 2 girls, which I was not expecting in a historical novel like this, but we have Victoire, who is black. I don't think we know where specifically she's from, but she speaks with a French accent when she speaks English. And then we have Letty, who is a white girl, and she is from England, but like way out in the countryside, and would not have been able to get an education if not for the scholarship that Babel has given her. And obviously, a young black woman in 1800s England is definitely not given the most opportunities. So this definitely speaks on colonialism and racism, which are 2 very important topics that I'm glad this book speaks on. I mean, having read the last 2 R.F. Kuang books that I did, obviously it's going to speak on that. Those are 2 themes that I feel like R.F. Kuang tackles very well. But, yeah, those are 2 major themes in this. I did look it up because I was like, ooh, is this maybe queer? And it is, so I'm very excited about that. Y'all know I love queer books, but it's good. I'm digging the vibes. It is taking me a little bit to get into because we have those long chapters, not my favorite, but like I get it. B, the footnotes. I am so glad I'm listening to the audiobook because the audiobook is narrated by a guy because the main character is a male, and then a female voice comes in to narrate the footnotes, and I'm so glad that it's a different voice because this font is so tiny, and I like look at how this tiny little dot. Ooh, can you see? There's a tiny little dot to indicate footnotes, a little asterisk, and I would not catch all of them. So I'm glad that the narrator switches, so I know, like, oh, we're going to the footnotes, just in case I, like, get lost on the page and I, like, miss the asterisk and everything. So that's good, but it is a little bit confusing. Speaking of the audiobook, there are times when, like, a sentence or even just, like, a phrase are so jarringly different from the rest of it, like, it's suddenly muffled or louder than the rest of the audiobook, but only for a few words at a time, and it just, I don't know if those pieces were edited in after the, like, bulk of the audiobook was finished, but it's just so weird. It's not often, but it's maybe like 2 or 3 times a chapter. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it is a little bit weird. But overall, I'm having a great time with this. I messaged Bree my thoughts. She did not get to start it yesterday, unfortunately, but she is a much busier person than I am, so I completely understand if she takes longer to read it than me. I'm still very much looking forward to her thoughts whenever they happen. But yeah, I am going to pick this up a little bit later. It is a very rainy day, which is great for ambiance. It's gonna put me to sleep when I pick this up though. So we will just do our best, and I don't, like I said, I don't think I'm gonna update you at the end of every single part, because right now I've been going on for almost 10 minutes and this vlog is probably already so long, and I don't want to do that to you guys. So we'll see when I update you, but my overall thoughts are it's a challenge, but I'm really enjoying it. So I will see you when I've read more of this. There is a car stopped right outside my apartment in the middle of the road, and they were blasting music, but they've stopped. So I'm going to take this moment to update the vlog. So I am now halfway through Babel. I'm like exactly halfway according to the audiobook hours, which is pretty cool. I'm not at the end of one of the books or parts that the book is split into. Why am I out of breath? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Gremlin, I'm trying to update my vlog here. Can you scratch that later? Wow, nobody wants me to update my vlog. Anyway, I decided this would be a good place to update you because the next section isn't a chapter, it's an interlude, and that is intriguing. I don't know what that's going to entail, but I haven't updated you in quite a while. It is Monday, by the way. Monday afternoon, evening, I don't know what 5 p.m. constitutes. It's like kind of afternoon, kind of evening, so whichever word you prefer. Yeah, I am enjoying this book a lot. When I'm reading it, like when I'm actually actively reading, I'm having such a great time and I feel so immersed in it. But then at the same time, when I have to like stop and put it down for a little bit, I'm like not thinking about it when I'm not reading it, you know? So it is a little bit weird. I don't think it's a full 10 out of 10, at least at this point. It could still spike up and hit that, but it is still something I'm greatly enjoying. Bless you, Gremlin. My little kitty cat has a baby cold, and so she's been so sneezy. It's very gross, but I also feel bad. Anyway, I should just keep this short so that I stop getting interrupted. I'm really enjoying it. There is some intrigue. Oh, I've just noticed a spider. I'm so sorry, this clip is a mess. There's some intriguing stuff that has just happened, a like reversal kind of, and some information has been dropped. Some stuff that I thought was like very obvious, but other stuff that isn't quite so obvious has also been revealed to our main character, Robin. There's some not quite romance happening, but like hints at romance to come. I know this isn't a romance novel, but that there is romantic interest between characters, and we're starting to like plant the seeds of that, which is very fun, I think. So I am going to I had a late lunch, so I'm not really hungry for dinner yet, but I think I'm gonna have a snack, and just chill for a little while and then pick this back up later, because I do really want to get through this. I am really enjoying it, like I said, when I'm actively reading it, so I want to get back to actively reading it. But that will be later on today, and I will come back and update you when I have an update on it, and hopefully it will not be as scatterbrained as this update was. Hello, friends. It is 6:45 on Tuesday night. I keep calling today Monday. It's not Monday, it's Tuesday. And I have powered through the last 200 some odd pages and finished Babel. This book is so... I don't really know how to explain how I feel about it, because it really feels like two separate books in my head. It is very clearly one continuous narrative, and it follows it in a way that makes sense, but the first 300 pages and the last 200 pages are so vastly different in terms of vibes and pacing and action and all that it feels very split to me. And I love the first part, and I also love the second part, just in different ways. And I feel like, for me personally, I didn't like them together. If I had an entire book that felt the way the first 300 pages were, I would have loved it. To me, the first 300 pages has the same vibes as, what book is that? The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. That's the kind of dark academia the first 300 pages is. And then the last 200 pages is so action-packed, and it was what I was expecting this whole book to be. And the fact that we don't get to that point until 300 pages in just kind of bothers me a little bit. This is what I was expecting the book to be, and then we had this whole, it felt like a gigantic prologue, you know? And I don't want to say it was disappointing, it was just not quite up to my expectations, I guess, and maybe that's on me for raising my expectations too high. But yeah, I didn't love this the way I thought I would. I still really, really enjoyed it. I'm teetering between a 7 and an 8 out of 10, because 7 out of 10 does not feel high enough of a rating, but 8 out of 10 feels a little too high for what I felt. So I'm going to think on this a little bit. I'm going to go feed the cats and then feed myself, because I have not yet had dinner. So I'm going to do that while I think on my final thoughts about this. Yeah, overall, this vlog was interesting. I didn't love any of the books, but I would read from R.F. Kuang again. Definitely, I'm going to finish, I have it right here, the Poppy War trilogy. I'm going to finish this. There's also Catabasis, I think is how it's pronounced, is R.F. Kuang's newest book coming out, I want to say in August, that's about two rival college grad students who journey into hell to save the soul of their professor, and then they fall in love, I think. And that sounds so good. That sounds amazing. But maybe it will be what Babel wasn't for me. We can hope. So I wouldn't say that R.F. Kuang is a new favorite author, but I definitely really enjoy her works, and will read more from her in the future. So I can't hold up Yellowface for you. I returned that to the library earlier today. But that is the end of things now. So if you've enjoyed this vlog, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone!